Hello, thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Sops, Ideriah, President of the American Business Council Nigeria, and Honorable Okey Onuakalusi, yes, of the Nigerian Parliamentary Group visit, yes. Thank you so much for joining us right here in Washington, D.C. And this has been a an engaging, thoughtful conversation with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So I guess with you, Mr. Ideriah, I wanted to start first. Um, how do you see this visit pretty much influencing bilateral trade relations between the U.S. and Nigeria?
Thank you very much, Paul, and thank you, your honorable lawmaker, for coming in with your team. I can tell you that this is a fest, yeah? And one thing we said is, in any situation, in any environment, engagement can only be constructive. So I can say, as the president of the American Business Council, representing over 95 U.S. companies operating out of Nigeria, this is a very constructive event. It was a pleasure engaging. I think one thing to note is, for the evolution of any country, the private industry matters. The production of goods and services, primarily driven by private and public organizations, matter. And the regulatory environment is critical to enabling the ease of doing business. And legislative engagement, legislative diplomacy, legislative partnership is key to that. And that's why this engagement, I think, is very constructive. We were able to share ideas, and we're able to have an opportunity to align priorities, legislative priorities, with investment opportunities that we see. So we think this would only be constructive to trade and investment. Critically, that we define actions and follow through with implementation around the actions.
Yes, and Honorable Onuakalusi, can you tell us what for listeners out there, the Nigerian-U.S. Parliamentary Group, what is the scope of it? What are the main objectives, and what was the main purpose as well of the visit here to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C.?
Well, thank you for this privilege of being here and meeting with the president of ABC. We will look forward to this engagement. And I must tell you that parliamentary engagement foreruns investment. No investment comes through without the law backing it. So Nigerian-U.S. Parliamentary Group is to deepen the parliamentary engagement and relationship between Nigeria and Nigeria to an area of laws and oversight, to ensure that any American business that invests in Nigeria, his investment is protected. And we look forward to a return investment that will blossom and blossom all over between Nigeria and the United States. That's why when I have the opportunity of coming here, I told my friends, come, let's go. Let's bring back America in the business. I know when we were a bit younger, we have a lot of American businessmen in Nigeria, in Lagos. I was brought up in Lagos, so I know a lot of businessmen who invested, but all of them are living the chores. But I'm telling you that Nigeria is a place to be. We have a stable government in the last 25 years of our unbroken democracy. So we have policies. And recently, we started to reform our tax system that will be able to tell any investor, this is what you are going to pay, this is not what you are going to pay. And that leaves you for room for. And now we have opened up our doors for implementation of those relationships. And that's why we're reaching out to America and say, come and invest in Nigeria. We have the manpower, we have the resources, and we have the population. The useful experience is there. Our population is about 220 million people. And we have over 60% young men who are less 40 years of age. So that's an opportunity. So we have area of digital economy. We have area of farming, mechanized farming system. We have area of production. And Nigeria is a place to be. And let me shock you. Nigeria remains just 2% on top tourism industry. from the north to the south, there's no place you can get the tourism potential. So that's why we're reaching out. And we will continue to do that. So it's my privilege and honor to invite you, and let's collaborate and work. Let's roll it on. That's the right time to do it. And I want to promise you, the next 25 years, when we put our things together, we are going to be proud to say, really, it's a place to be.
Excellent.
That's great. And just one more question. Can you elaborate on any success stories where legislative collaboration has led to measurable economic benefits?
Yes, and in the oil sector, we have a tax oil sector laws that deregulate our oil system. Nigeria has been a mono-economic system where we depend on oil and gas. But we have deregulated that sector and have a law, that Petroleum Industrial Act, that's a law. And I know the American visitor invested in that bill. And that's why it came through in 2022. So that law now decentralized the system and began to regulate the oil industry. Now you no longer have issue of host communities fighting the industry, because the law defined what percentage that will be accruable to them. The law defined how many percent that goes to the government, how many percent that goes to the investor, how many percent, and you will begin to say, apart from it, if the law allows you to say, when you come to an environment, you train people that will be able to run with the business when you are no longer interested in it. So this law, the Petroleum Industrial Act, regulates what it does say first. Then the next tax laws, we now have a streamlined tax system that we pass into law. We have got to the second reading, have gone for public hearing, and now we're in out for it. That defines the tax system, and that's the tax system in Nigeria better than any country in the world. So with that new tax system, you can invest in us. Come over to Nigeria, that's the place to be.
And finally, in a world where today it seems like international relations might slightly be in jeopardy, depending on how you see the overlook of things, how does the future of U.S. and Nigeria relationship, how does that look like, or how does that bode in the coming years? Is it something that is of a positive outlook for both economies?
Yeah, 100% positive. Nigeria, especially the new administration, is in for real governmental business. They're no longer interested in aids. In fact, in Nigeria, we're not interested in aids. We want government that will collaborate with us. And that's why we are now going towards private partnership relationship in investment. Government provide the regulatory framework, then individuals come and invest. Government are not meant to be in charge of business. They regulate a private regulation framework and to do it. So I see the future is brighter, and I want to show you it's going to be brighter. So we're going to domesticate most of the things. So come on board, give us the laws we can domesticate to make it good.
So from my own standpoint in responding to that, when we look at Nigeria and just look at it from a standpoint of the potential, looking at the factors of production, the naturally endowed human capital, resource capital, natural resources that we have, and the potential for capital formation, Nigeria represents a huge potential. I think from our standpoint, unparalleled in Africa. And that's why Nigeria is key. What is critical to untapping that is making sure that there's the right business environment that can enable private industry to thrive. And we are pleased to see this level of commitment from the legislative body in Nigeria. The National Assembly, are seen by this engagement. And we're hopeful and confident that the actions will be followed through to ensure that we can untap this potential. So we are with you, and we will remain committed as a body in the American Business Council to engage with you on the formation of laws, provide feedback, provide input on what works for the interests of private industry, and also for the interest of Nigeria and the United States as well.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Ideriah and Honorable Onuakalusi. I got it correct. And we wish you well on your future endeavors in strengthening U.S.-Nigeria relations. Thank you so much.
So what have been?
Thank you. Thank you very much.